Alright, looks like we're in business. How's it going on, everyone? Looks like things are working now. I was having a bit of trouble getting things off the ground earlier. And yes, last night. So, but hey, here I am. Louis Vuitton, a river unto the people. Now, sorry for the quite extended leave of absence. Absence. I wish I had some absence right now. Fuck me. Um, so I've been sick twice in the last 5 weeks. Yeah, been fun. Caught one virus, then a cold. Haven't had much time to recover in between. Not the virus, but hey. Oh well. Still not 100%, so I will try to avoid coughing or sniffing into the microphone. But yeah, anyway. Let me properly open the stream by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land from which we're coming to you live from, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. Let me pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging, and welcome any and all Indigenous people joining us today. So quite a lot has happened in my absence. The last thing I covered was super straight people, I think. Been a while since then. And even though that's the thing, at the time, I said the meme of super straight is kind of getting old now. I'm a little behind the eight ball. But then just today, Jangle's Science Lab was debating T-Jump on modern day debate about super straight. I haven't watched it, but Jangles knows his stuff, and T-Jump's an idiot, even if he is quite good at debate. So yeah, check it out. What else has been going on? Well, I do have some stuff to take a look at. The Sioux Canal, of course, but that's not what we're going to look at. So, I don't know if it's international, but I think it is. Yeah, it is. I don't know. Anyway, at least here in Australia, I don't know if it's internationally, but at least here in Australia, today we are celebrating Transgender Day of Visibility, where we would all hopefully come together to acknowledge and respect the existence of trans people and their rights. So, I mean, really every day is Transgender Day of Visibility. I promise you that trans people have always been here and will continue to be here. And yeah, and as long as they are here, which is going to be forever, we need to ensure that they're protected and that their rights looked after and that they're not afforded any less rights than anybody else. You can say trans people are pretty pog. I don't want to put I don't want to put a dampen on the mood. However, it is relevant. And it's quite shocking. Let's take a look. Breaking. Arkansas has become the first state to ban healthcare for trans youth. Wonderful. Good job, Arkansas. Arkansas? I don't know. So yeah, HB 1570 was just passed through both chambers in the Arkansas legislature, banning trans youth from accessing healthcare and health insurance coverage that we deserve and need. Our rights and lives are under attack. Governor Hutchinson must veto this bill. That's a physician who trained in Arkansas. This angers me, doesn't surprise me. No shit. Oh, look, concerned about our textiles. Fuck you. Ridiculous. Denying necessary healthcare to a political minority is by definition genocide. Yeah, I would agree. Healthcare sounds both fake and rainbow. What? Healthcare? Oh, I just realized I'm not on screen. Of course I'm not, because I was not on before. Hang on. Alright, let's take it back. Yeah. Oh my god, look at this satanic panic shit. Which was what was, this little edit that I did. This is what it's in reference to. Like, fucking moral crusaders, moral panic. Think of the children. That's also been what's happening in the news. Good on you, little Nas X. And it's the same old boring bullshit. Conservatives just moralizing over jack shit, pretending to be the moral majority. Yeah, like it's the same moral outrage that we had 20, 30 years ago, I suppose. Yeah, 20, 30 years ago. I suppose really more 30 years ago now. Like, oh gee, feeling my age. Really more 30 years ago now with the Satanic Panic. And it's just the same shit. But hey, like, conservatism is a new counterculture, right? Yeah, for sure. So this is pretty shit. Good on the ACLU for continuing to stand up for trans people. This is also just point out in the same week that Rachel Levine was confirmed as the first openly trans federal official in the US government. The same week that she was confirmed, this happens. So, good on the ACLU for continuing to fight the good fight, but yeah, I can't imagine being trans and living in Arkansas. I can't imagine living in Arkansas. Unfortunately, moving's quite expensive, so I don't have any advice. I don't know, maybe content creators can coordinate maybe some kind of, mutual aid to get people to move. I don't know, I'm not that big enough yet, but hey, that's something that definitely be an option. And here we are, more Satanic Panic shit. So boring. So boring. What? We shouldn't ban healthcare for trans youth. Yes, we should, because these ain't youth. What do you... What? So, like, I've been following the ACLU for as long as I've been on Twitter, which admittedly hasn't been that long. And, like... ramping up towards the US election, the ACLU started to get way more attention on its... Twitter, because there would only ever be like a few people, like more like this, I guess. Like that's kind of the kind of traction they would get normally. Those kind of numbers, like not many people would just pay attention to what they were posting about. But nowadays, why am I got these in? I'm not listening to anything. Nowadays, like the ACLU gets so much attention because like there's so much shit happening in the world, or happening specifically in the US, obviously ACLU. They've constantly got their work cut out for them. It's fucked. It's so boring. So, at least I've got a bit of a fun activity for us to do tonight. Yeah, let's... Look, it's supposed to be a happy day. As shit as that Arkansas bill is, I can't do anything about it. But let it serve as a reminder as to why we need days like Transgender Day of Visibility. When you have state legislators attempting to deny healthcare to a minority, it's why we need specific focus and specific advocacy. I mean, it's like when people hear Black Lives Matter and come back with All Lives Matter. We're talking about specific advocacy. All Lives Matter obfuscates the point of the message. The point is that there's specific issues within the black community, specific problems that need to be addressed. There's specific inequalities. So, that's why we have days like Transgender Day of Visibility to specifically focus on the struggle of trans people. And I got into an argument a couple nights ago on Twitter. Like, several... Actually, no, wait, when was it? It was Sunday. Fucking Sunday night. I was supposed to be handing in an assignment. Oh, well. I still got the assignment handed in. I got into an argument... Actually, it was actually on an ACLU post with a bunch of people. First, there was one person who was kind of like... a misled liberal who really kind of turned around when I made the liberty argument. And then there was some fucking British turf. I fucking hate the English. Um, who went back and forth for a while, and then a bunch of others jumped in. And there's just no reasoning with these people. Like, they kept on going on about men invading women's prison, or men pretending to be women to get into women's spaces, to get into women's prisons. And, like, so many times I would just say some variation of, well, you know, if this was happening, then there would be statistics that bore out a broader social problem. But it's funny how there's not, but there is a plethora of data that shows that when trans women are placed in men's prisons, they're at a much greater risk. And do experience violence and rape and murder. But yeah, these people aren't interested in science. They're not interested in data. Not interested in studies. And worst of all, like, so many... there was this one fucking turf. This one woman that I kept... I don't know how many times I said it. It was like a dozen times. I kept on telling her, stop reducing womanhood to women's capacity to have children. And, like, I'm not even kidding. Like, she would reply, I'm not. Women have children, men don't. You're literally doing the thing in the same sentence. Fuck. Like, feminists have fought for centuries at this point, I guess, to be defined as more than just their capacity to be pregnant. And fucking TERFs are just ignoring all that. Like, no, women is whoever can squirt out a baby. Unbelievable. Just no introspection. And, like, I just went back and forth so many times, like, asking them, like, do you see, like, what you're saying? Do you, like, realize the lack of introspection that you have? You keep saying that women aren't defined by birth, and then you keep saying it. You keep saying they are. I don't know, like, people like that, like, as fun as, like, I don't know, like, I kind of find Twitter arguments fun, but then I find them fun when we're in the meat of it, but when I, like, because, like, I want a resolution, I want a conclusion, but I don't really get that on Twitter, so, like, those kind of conversations I would much rather have here on the channel, and, like, so many times, I'll say to someone, like, hey, like, send me a DM, happy to have you on, send me a DM, we can organize a time and date, and whoa, what a surprise, no one takes me up on it. People are fucking cowards. The one person that I was arguing with one time, who we did, I don't know, at least start in terms of having having a discussion, was Mel, the tanky. I heard that she went on Vosh's, well, I've seen that she went on Vosh's stream today? Was it? I don't know. I think it was today. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm very keen to, because I can't fucking stand liars. I really fucking can't stand liars. So cowardly. And she especially, holy fuck, what a fucking coward. So, I saw the video on YouTube before. It's an hour and 45 minutes long. That's like, you could say genocide bad a lot of times in an hour and 45 minutes. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Apparently, she just completely avoided yes/no questions or yes/no answers. So, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'll have to watch the video, right? But if it would have been my video, it wouldn't have been an hour and 45 minutes long. It would have been much shorter because I would not have left. I would not have let up on the point. But hey, I'll just have to see. Alright. Now, like I said, I wanted to do something fun. Alright? So as the stream title would suggest, Ben Shapiro is going to be taking us through the US presidents. But hey, we're going to be not just watching him doing it, but we're going to create our own list and see where he's right, where he's wrong. And yeah, see how ours compares at the end. But let's see. There's one other thing. Well, I suppose one other thing that I should mention is like, hey, my name is Louis Vuitton. I'm an Australian streamer. I stream politics on YouTube and Twitch. You can catch me. Well, you can look at my prepared content over my YouTube channel. Put out a video last week. Workload's been a bit heavy with uni, so the content. We'll see. I'll do my best. All right. I've on uni holidays after tomorrow because I don't have anything on Friday, so I'll try and get another video out over the break. All right. I'll do my best. Yeah, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord through the link down below. There's also a link in the description for Streamlabs. Now, normally I say like, hey, no pressure. It's, we're all doing it tough, but hey, so am I. I'm now reached the point where I am doing it tough, where I have to go looking for a wage slave job to stay afloat. So I would much rather spend that time streaming rather than working in a wage cage. So hey, I'm no longer asking. Anyway, let us see. So here we are. Our friend Ben. US President's tier ranking. Alright. Now, we have our Brains Trust here, of course, Wikipedia the show, to check, because there's a bunch of dudes here that I have no idea who they are, so we'll have to look them up and see if they have any controversy, anything that could affect their rating. But we'll take a look at our tier in a second, but let's see what he's got to say. Ben, take us away.
Asked a million times, so I think the top presidents were, so today, we're going to tier rank the most notable presidents in American history. Before we jump in, this video is sponsored by Ring. On this tier list, we have 5 tiers. We have S, which I suppose stands for superior since it's at the top of the list, and then we have A, B, C, and F. Now, I'm really missing the letter D here, I will admit to you, because there are a bunch of presidents here I think are actually D, but because they are D, I'm going to put them in the F category.
God, he's so quiet, which is weird for him.
We'll get to those in a moment. So
anyway, ours is a little different. We have included the D rating, so S, A, B, C, D, F, and a megalo because if I don't know jack shit about them, then whatever. All right, Ben, who you got for us first?
Let's start with the presidents who are at the very tip top of the list, the best presidents in the history of the United States.
Okay.
Obviously, on the top of the list, George
Washington.
Washington.
Well, we already got a problem, all right? George Washington. Okay, where's George? Where are you, George? Who the fuck is he? Wait, what does he look like? Okay. There he is. All right, George. F. Okay, okay. I won't be that harsh. Okay. Okay. So, I got to give him props for sticking it to the British. But, and for, leaving office at the end of his terms, at the end of his 2 terms. Did he have 2 terms? Sure he did. 88 to 89, 92. Oh, technically 1 term, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, he did leave office at the end of his term, so I got to give him props for that, considering they wanted to make him king. But holy shit, he treated his slaves like shit, and not to mention, land of the free, home of the brave. Not for slaves at the time, not for indigenous people at the time. So, Washington... I can't be that generous because I can't be like, oh well, he founded a democracy. Well, it wasn't a democracy for everyone, so like, I'm sorry, mate. D. We're already off to a bad start, Ben.
Our first president kept the country together, left office peacefully. The father of the country, a great man, easy pick, right? George Washington as number one. And then everybody knows that the
I mean, for the reasons I already explained.
other president, there are only two presidents in this top tier. There are not three. Okay, I know the left thinks FDR's in that top tier. I know some people on the right think that Reagan's in that top tier. Neither one of them are Washington or Lincoln. Lincoln is the other guy in that top tier, beyond simply leading America through the Civil War and to a new birth of freedom. It was Lincoln who, as a thinker, helped to revivify the idea that the Declaration of Independence was an inherent part of the Constitution of the United States, that the
Is he going to mention slavery?
two were inseparable. The ideas of liberty were not restricted to the Declaration of Independence as a non-operable piece of legislation, but actually infused
What does everybody know Lincoln for?
the Constitution of the United States, and that liberty principles were supposed to be extended to all people of the United States, not merely white Americans. So for that reason, Abraham Lincoln is top of the heap along
Yeah, and why were those same rights denied to black people, Ben?
with George Washington. So that's the easy part, right? That's what everybody does. Washington and Lincoln are the two best presidents. There's very little debate
He's not
about
going
this.
to do it.
Then things start.
He's not going to... Okay. What does everybody know Lincoln for? For freeing the slaves. He didn't even mention... Like, he talked about, like, okay, sure, liberty and whatnot, but he didn't even mention it. What the fuck? Wow, like... I don't know if Ben Shapiro's cool with slavery, but some conservatives are. Anyway, I gotta look up if Abe has got, like, I gotta look up if Honest Abe has any negative shit about him. Is there a controversy section? Well, there's religious, that's already bad. Oh, Native American policy, what's that? Lincoln's experience with Indigenous Americans formed the deputy grandfather Abraham at their hands in the presence of father. Lincoln claimed Indigenous Americans were racist towards his father, Thomas Lincoln, and his young family. Although Lincoln was a veteran of the Black Hawk War, which was fought in Wisconsin and Illinois, he saw no significant action. During his presidency, Lincoln's policy towards Indigenous Americans was driven by politics. He used the Indigenous American Bureau as a source of patronage, making appointments to his loyal followers in Minnesota and Wisconsin. He faced difficulties guarding... Okay, I'm going to speed read this rather than reading it loud. Oh, wait, what? Dakota Uprising? Oh, okay. Some believe it was a conspiracy by the Confederacy to launch a war on the Northwestern Front. Lincoln sent General John Pope, the former head of the Army of Virginia, to Minnesota as commander of the... Come on, where's this... Uh-oh. Lincoln personally reviewed each of 303 execution warrants for Santee, Dakota, convicted of killing innocent farmers. He commuted a sentence of all but 39. One was later reprieved. Lincoln sought to be lenient but sent a message. He also faced significant public pressure, including threat of mob justice, should any of the Dakota be spared. Former governor of Minnesota, Alexander Ramsey, told Lincoln in 1864 he would have gotten more presidential electoral support had he executed all 303 of the Indigenous Americans. Lincoln was told, I could not afford to hang men for votes. Okay. Alright, that's, given the times, that's probably the best we could really hope for. Alright. Lincoln... I mean, like, he had a really good attitude to what, like, it showed that he wasn't doing this out of any kind of hatred. And he, like it says, he sought to be lenient. And he faced public pressure. Obviously, they wanted him to hang more people, and wanted more people hanged. I don't know. I think... I don't know if we can... Can we give him an S? He didn't go far enough for Reconstruction, that's for sure. I don't know, like... Obviously, there still would have been some shitty treatment of like sure, black people were free, but they weren't. They were still second class citizens. All right, Lincoln, you're getting an A. All right, you're not quite perfect, but you did well. You're probably going to be the highest on this list, unless FDR gets up. All right, come on, Ben. What's next?
Start to get kind of interesting. So I'm going to sort of do this in reverse order. I'm going to start with the people who I think are just the worst presidents, like people who just were terrible. So,
oh my god, he releases on Christmas Day? Ben, like, oh, I suppose, will it be Christmas Day my time? But still Christmas Eve, what are you doing?
let's begin with the president who I think was pretty easily the worst president of the United States, without much of a question, Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson is a clear F. Woodrow Wilson is garbaggio. Woodrow Wilson was a vicious racist who was in favor of radical expansion of the federal government. He believed that the state should have no limits on it. He was effectively a socialist. He believed that the administrative government...
It's not so... There's no point. He doesn't...
...of the United States should be run top-down by the elites. He not only got us into World War I, he then used World War I as a pretext to basically go after his political opponents with the Sedition Act. Woodrow Wilson was a horrible, horrible, horrible president. And the fact that for a long time he was considered one of our better presidents speaks to how dumb America's historical class is. The reason a lot of
because American children aren't taught history properly.
Historical class likes him is because they, again, like the administrative state. The administrative state, for those who don't know, that's the idea the executive branch really should run the government, that the legislature sort of is a vestigial organ. The president should be, as Woodrow Wilson says, as big a man as he can be, as big a man as is capable of filling the office. He was a big fan of how German government was run. He was a big fan of the idea that the government was sort of the be-all, end-all. Was Woodrow Wilson. Awful, awful person, awful president. He is definitely in the F category. Other presidents.
Okay, well, let's check and see how much of that is accurate. It probably is. What are we looking for? Wilson. Let's see. And this is before the party switch. Alright, let's take a look. Wait, what? Oh, wrong points. Okay, wrong 14 points. Uh-oh. In response to the demand for industrial labor, the great migration of African Americans out of the South surged in 1917 and 1918. This migration sparked race riots, including the East St. Louis riots. East St. Louis riots of 1917. In response to these riots, but after much public outcry, Wilson asked Attorney General Thomas Watt Gregory of the federal government could intervene to check these disgraceful outrages. However, on the advice of Gregory, Wilson did not take direct action against the riots. Wilson spoke out against lynching, stating, I say plainly that every American who takes part in the action of mob or gives it any sort of countenance is no true sign of great democracy, but its betrayer. Okay, well, so he was not against those, or at least he condemned the mob justice. So, where's this about? Let's see. New domestic agenda. None of this is really about increasing the government. I don't know. Let's see what it's got to say. After the election, Wilson chose Bryan as Secretary of State, and Bryan offered advice to the remaining members of Wilson's cabinet, a prominent Wilson supporter who would marry Wilson's daughter. I don't know. 4 major domestic policies: conservation of natural resources, banking reform, tariff reduction, and equal access to raw materials. Tariff and tax legislation. I don't have time to read through all this, so I think we actually might have our first Omega Law. Sorry. Wilson. What does he look like? That was him, right? Yeah. Alright, sorry. I don't have time to read the Wikipedia page and didn't see anything about that jumped out to me about Ben.
Or in the F category. So this is where I really wish that there was like a D category right here. In what would be the D category, but we're going to have to push him into the F category because we really have no other choice. There is no D category here.
You can add it in, you idiot.
LBJ definitely goes in that category, in that F category.
Oh, 100%. LBJ. Oh, yeah. Where is he? Is that him? Yep. Get the fuck in there. Easy F. Convinced Australia to join the Vietnam War.
So LBJ, awful president. The sole bright spot in the LBJ administration was a bright spot, and that was the Civil Rights Act. The Civil Rights Act, which is exactly right on banning.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, well, I can't put him in F for that then. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay, that's gotta... Okay, that's probably gotta bump him up to a C, to be honest. Civil... Okay, yeah, like, whoo, okay. More, okay. Wait, gun control? No, civil rights is pretty substantial. Like, the war shit and the guns and stuff, like... Oh... I almost want to put him onto a B, because the civil rights is just so significant. But, like Abe's in A, and he freed the goddamn slaves. Like, I can't have LBJ just under Abe. I know, I gotta leave it... Look, LBJ's got to be in C because there's a lot of shit wrong with his presidency. Like, the civil rights, and, like, that's fantastic. But... the Vietnam War... Uh-oh, what is this? Surveillance of Martin Luther King. Oh, that's great. And, like, dragging Australia into the Vietnam War. Gun control... Let me just have a look at immigration. Was he pro or anti? The annual rate of inflow doubled. Oh, okay. Oh. The war, though. The war is so bad. Fuck, man. I'm sorry this is taking... Like, this is a 17-minute video. This is going to take an hour, just like... Fuck. The war is just so bad, though. What was gun control? Largest and farthest reaching federal gun control laws since in American history. See, that's not good. Came as a response to assassination of JFK, Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King. Gun control wouldn't have saved them. Urban riots. What's that about? Is this the Watts riots? I think it is. Yeah. Alright. Lady Bird? Sorry, that was rude. Okay, now he's staying in C. Sorry. Like, he did a lot of good, but he did a lot of shit. Alright. Hit us up, Ben. What's next?
All sorts of state practices of discrimination is wrong when it comes to encroaching into private rights of association, and is wrong in some of its broad outlines as far as how to deal with the private sector. Everything else is garbage. The extension of the welfare state is garbage. The Vietnam War and his strategy in pursuing the Vietnam War, graduated equilibrium, horrible, horrible garbage. Right? So LBJ, terrible president. He definitely goes in that bottom tier along with Woodrow Wilson. Other people.
Hey, like, are you not going to give him any props for the civil rights movement? Like, are you not going to give him any props for changing that law or multiple laws? Like, come on, like, I made a really fucking strong case for it, alright? Like, I wish I could put him up in B. Alright, and I wish I could put him up in B. I wish I could put him up in S. Seriously, like, the, like, racial reform of his presidency is S tier worthy, but there is just so much shit in his presidency that, like, counts against him. So to put him in F is, like, really unjust. It just goes to show, again, where Ben's priorities are. Ben's not concerned with the fucking civil rights movement. He's like, whatever, who cares about that? He's an F.
Bottom tier along with Woodrow Wilson. Other people who belong in that bottom tier.
You're an idiot.
The much beloved FDR goes in that bottom tier, despite...
It's so dishonest. It's so dishonest. I can't believe this. Even if you don't even if you're, like, the most, like, bootstrap thinking conservative, you can't deny that the New Deal dragged the country out of poverty. Like, I'm like FDR like might be a contender for S tier. Where is he? Unless there's some heinous shit in his presidency, like that's so dishonest. You can't honestly put him in F tier. It's so dishonest. Oh, so was FDR president during World War II? Oh, yes, of course he was. Okay, interesting. And of course he didn't wait third and fourth terms. um. Okay. So we didn't enter the war until after Pearl Harbor. Okay. Have we got any civil rights. Okay, what's he got to say? Roosevelt was viewed as a hero by many African Americans, Catholics, and Jews, and he was highly successful in attracting large majorities of, doesn't mention Indigenous Americans, large amount of these voters in his New Deal coalition. He won strong support from Chinese Americans and Filipino Americans, but not Japanese Americans, of course. Oh, because he presided over their internment in concentration camps during the war. Oh, right. Forgot about that. Okay. Where's that? Let's see. Yeah, that's great. Does it mention internment camps here? Okay, might have it. Let's see. The attack on Pearl Harbor raised concerns in the public regarding the possibility of sabotage by Japanese Americans. This suspicion was fed by long-standing racism against Japanese immigrants, as well as the findings of the Roberts Commission, which concluded that the attack on Pearl Harbor had been assisted by Japanese spies. President Roosevelt ordered Executive Order 9066, which relocated hundreds of thousands of the Japanese American citizens immigrants. They were forced to liquidate their properties and businesses and interned in hastily built camps in interior, harsh locations. Just... Oh, yeah, okay. He's not getting into F tier. Sorry, S tier. Sorry, Roosevelt. If you hadn't have been a racist fuck and locked all the Japanese up, you would have been our probably only S. Okay. I mean, we're talking American citizens. What was his picture again? Okay, FDR. Where are you? Oh, there he is. A different picture for this one. Alright, I'm sorry. Fuck, man! Fuck! Like, I can't even put him in A. Internment camps is real fucking bad. That's some real heinous shit. Just violating the rights of Americans. American citizens. Doesn't matter if they're Japanese Americans or not. These are American citizens. And, like... Man, and because the Japanese attacked him, because there was some spies in America, we're gonna throw a bunch of Japanese Americans in camps. Fuck, man. Oh, man, this isn't fair. And fucking we'll listen to Ben Shapiro justify why FDR is a fucking F tier. Get the fuck out of here, man. You're so full of shit. You're, like, so fake. You can't deny that FDR's policy saved that country. So dishonest. Let's see if he mentions the internment camps.
Terrible president. He definitely goes in that bottom tier along with Woodrow Wilson. Other people who belong in that bottom tier, and the much beloved FDR goes in that bottom tier. Despite historians' attempts to paint FDR as a wonderful president, it's pretty obvious that he lengthened the Great Depression by as much as 8 years, according to a study from UCLA Anderson Business School, through his horrific economic policies. He basically portrayed anybody who was not under his thumb as a quote-unquote malefactor of great wealth. He was a class warrior in the extreme. He really didn't know much about economic policy. Like, I'm glad that he was great on the radio, but aside from...
I can't. He's just lying. He's taking advantage of Americans' lack of knowledge of history. The New Deal saved the country. You're just lying. He's just straight up, like... There's not even, like, any, like... It's not even about, like... When he was talking about... Who was it? What was his fucking name? Let me look at the list. Like, LBJ, like... It's not even, like, where he's, like, obfuscating, like, facts. Like, if LBJ, where he, like, didn't mention the civil rights movement. Or he mentioned it, but, like, didn't give him props for it. Like... You're just lying about FDR. The New Deal is universally viewed favorably. Like, this is just fucking... Ben just lets his politics just mandate his fucking commentary. Ben, you're so dishonest.
From his pursuit of World War II, that's pretty much it. Now, this is why, again, that D category...
What do you mean? He stayed out until America was attacked.
Would have been good, because FDR as a World War II leader was good, except for, you know, the whole unfortunate imprisoning 100,000 Japanese Americans in camps. That was not...
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You don't give a shit about that. Again, like, conservatives playing on intersectionality when it suits their fucking cause. You put LBJ in the F category despite his reforming the law in response to the civil rights movement. But now you're going to be like, oh, but FDR ends up in the bottom because as well of his internment of Japanese Americans. You're so fucking dishonest, mate. You're not even going to give him props. You're not going to give him like, oh, let's even put him in, oh, you don't have a D category. We're not going to put him in the, like, the row above F. So fucking full of it. Like, I wish I could put FDR in S, but I can't even put him in A because the internment camps are that bad. The only reason he's in B is because his policy was fantastic. The internment camps are real fucking bad. I wish I could put him in S. And, like, if it wasn't for that shit, like, if it wasn't for the New Deal, he would be in F, alright? This is just so dishonest. I'm actually, like... Oh, I'm so frustrated because I'm approaching this in the sense that I actually want to comment on this. I want to actually look at these presidents and their presidencies. But fucking Ben is just out here to push an agenda. This is supposed to be fun. I'm not having fun. Alright, let's chill. Let's take a chill, alright? If you're watching the stream, the chat that we use on screen is Twitch, not YouTube. Sorry, YouTube chat. Whew. And hey, you can always help me chill out by donating. That would definitely help me relax. Alright, Ben, take us, like, finish up your rant about FDR. Your lying rant.
That his World War II pursuit was good. I wish that he were in that D category, just like I wish that LBJ were in that D category, so we could at least recognize the good things they did alongside all the bad things.
Then why do you just add it? Like, look, like, oh, let's see. Okay, Add row. He's been a boomer? Like, what?
But some people have FDR in, like, the top tier of presidents. No effing way.
Yeah,
no way. Okay, other presidents who belong in that bottom tier of presidents. I'm put Richard Nixon in the bottom tier of presidents. I think Nixon was a terrible president. I know.
Thank you. You got something right. Fuck me. Where is he? Tricky dick. Where the fuck is he? There he is. Alright. Get in there. We don't need to justify that.
There are a lot of Republicans who have sort of a warm spot for Nixon, mainly because he was not George McGovern. But putting aside Watergate, which again is like the least of his sins, considering that LBJ bugged Barry Goldwater's headquarters in 1964. He instituted price and wage controls. He did not dismantle the vast government apparatus that was built by LBJ. In fact, he exacerbated that. He pursued the opening of China, which has resulted in the rise of a dictatorial empire that now threatens American power
Are you going to mention the war on drugs?
In Southeast Asia. So not a big Nixon fan. I know there are a lot of people who are. I'm not. You could plausibly put him in the C category, but I'll put him in the F.
Are you going to mention the war on drugs?
F, just to be even-handed. And finally, as the last...
Okay. That's cool.
Last person who goes in that F category, well, no, sorry, there are two more for the F category. One is going to be Barack Obama. So Obama goes in the F category. I think he was an awful president. I think he did horrific work, mainly with regard to his rhetoric. In terms of his legislation, I think Obamacare was an atrocity, and I think that his spending plans with stimulus and raising us to $4 trillion budgets, it's helped destroy the economic future of the United States. That's bad enough. But between 2008 and 2012, Barack Obama morphed from a president who sort of campaigned on almost a Clintonian third way as a guy who wasn't for red states and not blue states, but the United States. And in 2012, he went just hardcore intersectionality. Anybody who opposes me is a racist. America can be divvied into various victimized groups that can be cobbled together in a new rising ascendant majority against the old America is extremely damaging. And I think that is going to be the future of American politics for quite a while. I think the Democratic Party never quite got over the Obama coalition of 2012. They've been trying to pursue it ever since, and it has broken American politics in ways large and small. So Obama goes in that bottom category. And then
you're not going to mention war. You're not going to mention the Patriot Act. Like, I'm sorry. Like, the people that I've put up here are for what they did for civil rights and workers' rights. But, like, where the fuck is he? I'm sorry. Like, what Obama did for civil rights doesn't even come close to the damage he did with the war in the Middle East, the Patriot Act, the lying, broken promises. Like, Ben, like, your reason for putting him in an F is fucking intersectionality. You could be fucking kidding me, mate. I'm like, this is supposed to be fun. Oh my god. I'm putting way too much thought into this. Seriously. Obama's an effort because he was a war hawk and defended and expanded upon one of the most authoritarian means that this country has seen. Andrew Jackson, number one. Andrew Jackson, probably going to definitely be an F, I'd say. Because he was the one that did the Trail of Tears, right? I'll have a look at him when he comes up. Trump number two. Trump's an easy F, my friend. Alright, come on, Ben. What's next?
Finally, last guy who goes in that category is, of course, James Buchanan, who is the president just before the Civil War. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure the Civil War happens because of James Buchanan. I don't think he does much to stop it. And so you have a bunch of events that are happening outside of Buchanan's control. Doesn't mean he was a good president. He was a terrible president. Okay, so now we've got your...
Wasn't he, like, the gay president? Isn't he the one? Let me see. Buchanan. Is he the gay president? Ooh. Okay, well, he gets... Okay, look, he gets some props for that. So where is he? Buchanan? He can join Washington in D. Alright. What's next?
Your top category, we've got the F category. Now we're going to do some people who are in the middle. So, in the A category, which is just below S, we'll put Calvin Coolidge. So Calvin Coolidge, really underrated president. Because Calvin Coolidge is the last president in...
I mean, he sounds like he should be underrated with a name like Calvin Coolidge. How did Calvin Coolidge be elected to President of the United States with a name like Calvin Coolidge? Look, I don't like Trump, but at least a name like Donald Trump. Actually, no, it doesn't sound presidential. It sounded more presidential in my head, I'm sorry. Okay, George Washington sounds very presidential, alright? Calvin Coolidge? That sounds like a Martin Prince kind of guy, like a nerd in school that you would bully for lunch money. That's what Calvin Coolidge sounds like. In fact, let's see, Calvin Coolidge, was he that kind of person? Where is he? There he is. What did he do? Silent Cal. Well, that sounds about right. Oh, civil rights, okay. Opposition to farm subsidies. That's not good. Coolidge was devoid of racial prejudice, but rarely took the lead on civil rights. Coolidge disliked the Ku Klux Klan, and no Klansman is known to have received an appointment from him. Oh, fucking hope not. In the 1924 presidential election, his opponents and his running mate Charles Dawes often attacked the Klan, but Coolidge avoided the subject. Coolidge spoke in favor of the civil rights of African Americans, saying in his first State of the Union address that their rights were just as sacred as those of any other citizen under the U.S. Constitution, and it was a public and private duty to protect those rights. Well, Jim Crow is still in effect, mate. Coolidge repeatedly called for laws to make lynching a federal crime. Congress refused to pass any such legislation. In 1924, Coolidge signed the Indian Citizenship Act, which granted U.S. citizenship to all American Indians living on reservations. Those off reservations had long been citizens. In 1924, Coolidge delivered a commencement address at historically black, non-segregated Howard University, in which he thanked and commended African Americans by their... Okay. And this seems alright. Let's see. Relief for farmers. Uh-oh. Some Congress proposed a bill designed to fight failing agricultural prices by allowing the federal government to purchase crops to sell abroad at lower prices. Agriculture Secretary Henry Wallace and other administration officials favored the bill, but when it was introduced in 1924, but rising prices convinced many in Congress that the bill wasn't necessary and was defeated just before the elections that year. The bill proposed a federal farm board would purchase surplus production on high yield yields and hold it for later sale or sell it abroad. Arguing that agriculture must stand on independent business basis, and said the government control cannot be divorced from political control. Instead of manipulating prices, he favoured Herbert Hoover's proposal to increase profitability by modernizing agriculture. See, when you justify it like that, modernizing agriculture, I don't know. Taxation, government spending, adopted. Let's see. The notion that lowering taxes would increase rather than decrease government receipts. Tax rates were reduced. Well, that's not good. Was this tax rates for everyone or just the rich? Well, that's going to knock you down a few pegs, alright? I was almost even thinking about putting him up in A. Okay. Alright. Coolidge. I gotta take points off for that name as well. I don't know, he's pretty anti-racist, so... Like the tax stuff isn't that bad, mate. Where is he? Coolidge. What's he supposed to look like? Oops, shit. Where's he gone? Alright, mate. You have a dorky name, but you seem like an alright bloke. Take that well-deserved B slot.
In American history, to truly understand that the presidency should not be a major factor in your life. Now, Calvin Coolidge was famously taciturn. They used to call him Silent Cal. There's a famous story about Calvin Coolidge where he was at some sort of dinner party, and a reporter came up to him, and she said to him, President Coolidge, I've just made a bet with somebody. And she said, my bet is that I can make you say more than 2 words. And he said, you lose. And that was sort of how Coolidge was. But Coolidge also had a wonderful understanding of the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. He gave a speech on July 4th.
3 Reagan? You're crazy, mate. Reagan's going in the F tier. In fact, I just might have to create like a new shit tier just to put some of these people in.
And it's one of the great orations in American history about what America means and why the foundational principles of the Declaration of Independence had led to the prosperity of the United States, how the freedoms and liberties guaranteed to individuals had led to the prosperity of the United States, that we were created.
Are you going to mention his anti-racism stance?
By the Declaration. We were created by the Constitution. We do not get to create it. It's really, really good stuff. One of the tragedies of...
That's kind of weird, created by the Constitution, what?
American history is that Coolidge stepped down and Herbert Hoover took over, and Herbert Hoover was, in fact, quite a bad president. Who else do we have here? Well, I'll put Reagan in that A category. And now Reagan's...
No! No! Come on! That is... Come on! You know that's... You can't, mate. You can't be that dishonest.
Problem as a president was, of course, that he didn't get the spending under control. He was also saddled with the Democratic Senate for part of his term. In terms of breaking the back of inflation in the United States through his Fed chief, Paul Volcker, in terms of radically lowering taxes in the United States and leading to 2 decades of growth, in terms of escalating defense spending, particularly on Star Wars, and breaking the power of the Soviet Union, Ronald Reagan goes near to the top of the heap. So he ends up with Calvin Coolidge.
No! Reagan, easy F! My dude! Fuck, broke the unions, instituted neoliberalism. Half a century later, still waiting for that money to trickle down. So dishonest. So, who was that in the chat? Rye? Sorry, my dude. Damn, this is a real slanted list.
who was one
Sorry, like, US presidents kind of suck. Oh, I would say that most Australian prime ministers suck as well, don't worry. Actually, oh, okay. Maybe not tonight, but another night we'll do ranking Australian prime ministers.
of his heroes, by the way, in that A category. Other presidents who end up in that A category probably have to put Thomas Jefferson in the A category for his federalist view of American government.
Didn't he? I know there was a lot of weird shit with Jefferson and his slaves.
What we would call federalist now, meaning he wanted to devolve more powers to the states. Also, the Louisiana Purchase, which is one of those weird moments in American history where he saw a good deal, recognized he didn't have the constitutional authority to make it, and then went ahead and made it anyway. But Jefferson is widely regarded as one of our better presidents. I'll put Ulysses S. Grant, I think.
Oh, chill out. Well, yeah. Let's see. Jefferson's experience of the American Indians began during his boyhood in Virginia and extended throughout his political career into his retirement. He refuted the contemporary notion that Indigenous Americans were inferior people and maintained they were equal in both body and mind to people of European descent. Oh, that's interesting. Averting conflict and keeping with Enlightenment thinking, Jefferson adapted an assimilation policy. Jefferson advocated that Indigenous American tribes should make federal purchase by credit holding their lands as collateral for repayment. Various tribes accepted Jefferson's policies, including the Shawnees, led by Black Hoof, the Creek, and the Cherokees. Assimilation, mate. Okay, what else you got? At least he saw them equal as much as he could at the time. Let's see. Lafayette's visit. Oh, really interesting. Slavery. Uh-oh. Jefferson lived in a planter economy largely dependent upon slavery, and as a wealthy landowner used slave labor for his household, plantation, and workshops. He first recorded his slaveholding in 1774, where he counted 41 enslaved people. Over his lifetime, how does this work? He was talking about his Enlightenment thinking before, but he's okay with having slaves? What the fuck? Over his lifetime, he owned about 600 slaves. He inherited about 175 people. Most of the remainder were born on his plantations. You've got to be kidding me. Jefferson purchased some slaves in order to reunite their families. How generous. Like, oh, can we just clap for Jefferson, people? My first wish is that the laborers may be well treated. We don't call them slaves. Sorry. The prisoners who are not paid are escaping. Or rioting, whatever it was. Ah, Jefferson did not work his slaves on Sundays and Christmas. Such benevolence. Is it Jefferson is the one that got the 14-year-old pregnant? Hemmings. Oh, here we are. Claims that Jefferson's father, Sally Hemmings' children have been debated since 1802. That year, James Callender, after being denied a position as postmaster, alleged Jefferson had taken Hemmings as a concubine and fathered several children with her. A 1998 panel of researchers conducted a wild DNA testing of living descendants of Jefferson's uncle Field and of a descendant of Hemmings' son, Eston Hemmings. The results showed a match with the male Jefferson line. Uh-oh. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she was 14, so... Okay. Alright. Jefferson. Alright, well, he was okay with Indigenous Americans. What's he look like? Jefferson. Not so great with Black Americans. D. You... I don't know. I'm still feeling F. Because his attitude towards Indigenous Americans was assimilation, and that is real fucking cringe. Like, he might have wanted them to enjoy... Like, he might have seen them as equals, but man, like... Not giving them land rights... I don't know, is that enough? Is that enough? I mean, I let Buchanan stay in D because he was gay. Like, uh, the slaves though, man. I gotta look. I gotta like. I'm thinking too much into this again. We gotta look at his policy. All right. Okay, let's see. The state releases legal claims to lands to its west in exchange for military support. Historian Bernard Sheehan argues that Jefferson believed that assimilation was best for American Indians. Excuse me. Second best was removal to the west. He felt that the worst outcome of the culture and resources conflict between American citizens. Oh God, excuse me again. And American Indians would be attacking the whites. Jefferson told Secretary of War General Dearborn, "If we are constrained to lift the hatchet against any tribe, we will never lay it down until that tribe is exterminated or driven beyond the Mississippi." Okay. Alright, I've decided. He's staying in D because it seems like he didn't want war with the indigenous Americans, but like all the rest of the stuff, treatment of slaves, Sally Hemings, yeah, sorry. That's what drove you so far down low. Whew. And hey, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, feel free to participate in the Twitch chat or chuck me a donation. I am no longer asking because, hey, I'm in between uni and streaming looking for a wage slave job. I won't have to if you all donate. Alright, Ben, what do you got next? Who is this? Ulysses S. Grant. I don't know jack shit about Ulysses S. Grant.
In this category. So there's been a great sort of revision about how Ulysses S. Grant is portrayed in American history. Ulysses S. Grant originally was portrayed as sort of a drunken sot who lucked his way through the Civil War and then into the presidency and then was responsible for the rise of pork politics and sort of Gilded Era corruption. That's not real.
Sorry, I need to see about an ad block.
Thing. Corruption. That's not really accurate. If you're going to remember Ulysses S. Grant's presidency for anything, remember it for the fact that he presided over Reconstruction. And one of the great tragedies of American history is that Reconstruction ends with Ulysses S. Grant's term in office. And Jim Crow really begins and gains a serious hold, and the KKK basically becomes a powerful force in the South after Ulysses S. Grant leaves office. Revisionist historians are now kind of looking back on the Grant era and realizing that he was a stalwart defender of freedoms being extended to newly freed slaves in the South. B president.
Yeah, which is why he's probably going to be further down in my list. That's the problem with Reconstruction, is that it did not go far enough. We didn't drive... Well, but you know what I mean. The South was not driven far enough into the dirt, alright? Reconstruction did not go anywhere near far enough, and we are paying for it now. Let's see. Native American policy. What have you got? When Grant took office in 1869, the nation's policy towards Indigenous Americans was in chaos, affecting more than 250,000 Indigenous Americans being governed by 370 treaties. Far out. And Australia can't even get one. Let's see. Well, at least he had a actual representative. Let's see. Grant's religious faith also influenced his policy towards Indigenous Americans, believing that the Creator did not place races of men on Earth for the stronger to destroy the weak. Okay, that's alright. In April 1869, Grant signed legislation establishing an unpaid board of Indian commissioners to reduce corruption overseas. Okay. I don't know anything about this Sioux War. Wait, what is this? After gold was discovered in the Black Hills and trespassing occurred on Sioux protected lands used for religious and marital ceremonies, Red Cloud reluctantly entered negotiations in 1875, other Sioux chiefs ready for war. Grant told his Sioux leaders to make arrangements to allow white persons to go into the Black Hills. Attacking native culture, Grant told them their children would attend schools speaking English to prepare for the life of the white men. Oh, okay. Maybe not, because I was thinking about putting this guy in C. Grant was a man of peace. Shouldn't have been a man of peace when it comes to the South. Dominican Republic annexation. Oof. Far out. Gold standard and conspiracy. Uh-oh. Soon after taking office, Grant took conservative steps to return the nation's currency to a more secure footing. During the Civil War, Congress had authorized the Treasury to issue banknotes that, unlike the rest of the currency, were not backed by gold or silver. The greenback notes, as they were known, were necessary to pay the unprecedented war debts, but they also caused inflation and forced gold-backed money out of circulation. Scandals. Ooh, this will be interesting. All right. The post-Civil War economy brought on massive industrial wealth and government expansion. Speculation, lifestyle extravagance, and corruption in federal offices were rampant. All of Grant's executive departments were investigated by Congress. Grant, by nature, was honest, trusting, and gullible, and extremely loyal. His responses to malfeasance were mixed, at times appointing cabinet. Oh boy. Is there anything that puts him? Excuse me. Anything that puts this guy in F? In D? Third term attempt. I don't know, man. Didn't go far enough with Reconstruction. War of the Sioux. Like, oh cool, he appointed an Indigenous American to the head of this commission. Woo. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Ulysses, my friend. You've got to go to the F tier. There wasn't enough to save you. Where are you? Which fucking one is he?
So people who are like, okay, kind of.
Ben had a different photo. Where is he? This is just Grant. Alright. Sorry, mate. Fuck is he? Someone help me out. Can some American in the chat point him out to me? Which goddamn one of them is he? There's one of his photos here. Huh. What does Ben's photo of him look like?
As one of our better presidents, I'll put Ulysses S. Grant, I think, in this.
Is he just not here? Oh, there he is. Fuck me, I'm blind. Jesus Christ.
One of the great tragedies of American Jim Crow really begins as Grant leaves office. Revisionist historians are now kind of looking back on the Grant era and realizing that he was a stalwart defender of freedoms being extended to newly freed slaves in the South. B presidents, so people who are like, okay, kind of okay. So I'll put JFK in. Well, nah, I'm putting him as a C. JFK goes as a C. One of the more overrated presidents in American history. Obviously, history has been.
Wow, Ben, I thought you've been very supportive of his anti-communism stance. Pretty anti-Soviet Russia. He did bang Marilyn, but he cheated on his wife. And he's a Kennedy, so... What have you got to say, Ben?
More kind to JFK because of the assassination than it otherwise would have been. The man was responsible for a wide variety of debacles during his first couple of years in office, including the Bay of Pigs debacle. True. However, he was a fervent anti-communist who did cut taxes. But as far as him being like one of our better presidents, I don't see any evidence of that. By the way, our engagement in Vietnam begins with JFK. It does not begin with LBJ.
True.
Let's see. Grover Cleveland. Well,
Grover Cleveland. What a dumb fucking name. What have you got? John, what have you got? I can't give you props for banging Marilyn, alright? I don't know. Fuck. This might be an F, mate. Serious. I mean, opposing the Soviets doesn't count. Being a good speaker doesn't count. Cuban Missile Crisis, Latin America and communism. Oof. I don't know, man. I feel like JFK's popular image is influencing me. What was his? I know. What was his religion? Because I know that was apparently really controversial. Oops, religion. There we go. Catholic. Right. Apparently, like, that was controversial at the time. Which just seems weird. I suppose America's very Protestant, or founded Protestant state. Let's see. Let me go popular image, because I feel like I've just been influenced by his popular image. Kennedy's wife, young in comparison to the presidents, the first who preceded them, both were popular in the media culture. Yeah. Yeah, fuck. Far out. That's just my influence from popular media. JFK. To the F category with you. Sorry, mate. Bay of Pigs, Vietnam War. Yeah, Ben was actually right on the... Well, not right on the money. He should be an F, but yeah.
We'll put in the B category. So Grover Cleveland.
Oh, Grover Cleveland. Okay, what have you got to say?
The president to serve twice non-consecutively. Grover Cleveland was responsible for making sure that the federal government did not outgrow what it was supposed to be. He famously rejected a stimulus package directed at Texas drought relief, saying that there is no constitutional warrant for this, which is something you would never hear from a president today. He goes in the B category. I'll put William Howard Taft in the same.
He kept money from Texans who desperately needed drought relief. So that makes him a good president in Ben's eyes. Of course it does. F. If Ben hadn't even mentioned that, you'd be in the Omega Law.
In category, William Howard Taft was a far more conservative figure than Teddy Roosevelt. We'll get to Teddy in just 1 second. William Howard Taft was a sort of retrenchment of traditional Republican values. He went on to serve on the Supreme Court of the United States. So sort of a figure that's been lost to history and people make jokes about him because he was extremely fat. But the truth is that he was actually a pretty good president, and if it had not been for Teddy Roosevelt and his ego trips, then William Howard Taft would be more fondly remembered as the person who defeated Woodrow Wilson in 1916, in 1912 rather, which would have changed the course of American history for the better in a lot of ways.
Now, look, I gave Buchanan props for being the gay president. I might have to give Taft props for being the fattest president. I don't know. Maybe Trump has him beat, though. Trump is fat as fuck. Like, even just look at his nunt. It's nowhere near as big as Trump's, but I suppose that collar's hiding it a bit. Alright, Taft. Well, tell me, what have you got? Let's see. Civil rights. What have you got? Taft announced in his inaugural address... Jesus, that... Oh, no, that's... Okay, I thought it was Taft for a sec. Taft announced in his inaugural address that he would not appoint African Americans to federal jobs, such as postmaster, where this would cause racial friction. This differed from Roosevelt, who would not remove or replace black office holders with whom local whites would not deal. Man, maybe I should go back and put FDR up a little higher. Nah, B's fine in B. The termed Taft's Southern policy. This stance effectively limited white protests against black appointees. Taft followed through, removing most black office holders in the South and made fewer points of African Americans in the North. At the time Taft was inaugurated, the way forward for African Americans was debated by their leaders. Booker T. Washington felt that most blacks should be trained for industrial work, with only a few seeking higher education. W.E.D. Now, I would say Dubois, but apparently the American pronouncing is Dubose, just because fucking Americans took a more militant stand for equality. Taft tended towards Washington's approach. Of course he did. Taft let the African American be kept in his place. Okay. Alright. That's pretty cringe. You got anything else for us, Taft? Unless you got something real good. Being fat isn't going to get you higher up. What is this? Individual rights? okay, wow. I'm not gonna read through all, like, the fucking policy and shit. Like, fuck all that. Oh, like, what antitrust, like... Oh, what happened here? Boiling a Pinochet affair. Roosevelt was an ardent conservationist. Assisted like-minded. Taft agreed with the need for conservation, but should be accompanied by legislation rather than executive order. He did not retain Garfield and Ohio as secretary, instead choosing a Westerner, former Seattle mayor Richard Bollinger. Roosevelt was surprised by the replacement, believing Taft had kept... Come on. Get to the actual policy. Yeah, alright, nothing there. Okay, well. Antitrust. And Taft continued to expand to Roosevelt to break up business accommodations. Oh, okay. Through lawsuits brought under the Sherman Antitrust Act, bringing 70 cases in 4 years. Suits... Oh, okay. Okay. That's good, Taft. Getting better. Breaking up trusts is good. East Asia, what have we got? I don't know, nothing's sticking out. Tariffs? At the time of Taft's presidency, protectionism through the use of tariffs was a fundamental position of the Republican Party. The Dingley tariff had been enacted to protect American industry from foreign competition. In 1908, party platform... that racism shit was pretty... I don't know, like... Like, look, I put LBJ in C, despite the civil rights, because of the war. I can't put Taft in C, just because he was, like, antitrust. Alright, where is he? Nope, there he is. D, Taft. Maybe I'm selling LGB, LBJ short. Maybe I should put LBJ in B. Maybe. The civil... Yeah, okay. I'm selling LBJ short. Like, the war shit obviously is horrendous. But okay, then I'll put Taft in C, alright? Because, like, that's... Like, the racism stuff isn't as bad as these blokes, alright? It's bad, but not as bad. And antitrust earns you C, alright? I'm selling the civil rights short. LBJ should be in B, alright? Despite the war. Alright. Okay. Take us away, Ben.
Harry Truman is a B president. He tends toward the C. I would say that he's a B president because of his Cold Warrior nature, because of his handling of the end of World War II. I have a personal fondness as a Jew for Harry Truman, as virtually all American Jews do, because of his willingness to signal American support for the establishment of the State of Israel. The reason he doesn't rank higher on the list is because he had some dictatorial tendencies with regard to unions. There's a famous Steele case in which he intervened in a fairly illegal way. And then, not only that, his policy toward China was really...
Wait, Ben, are you being pro-union? What?
...bad. He should have provided significantly more support to Chiang Kai-shek in the face of the Maoist revolution in China. His failure to do so was instrumental in the rise of communist China. Also, his handling of the Korean War left some things to be desired. President Trump.
What? Like, those are a lot of checks against his name, and you're going to put him in, what was it? B? Seriously? Come on, man. Come on. Civil rights. I mean, Israel, come on. Come on, man. Scandals. Wow. Oh. Ah, that's right. I forgot about that. Man, is there anything that can save him that put him in D? Yeah. Oh, Medicare. What is this? Oh, it's post-presidency. Who cares? Yep, Truman. All right, to the F category with you. America, you're not doing well so far. My goodness. Come on, blokes. Step up your game, mate. Come on, what are you doing? Look what your presidents are doing. Bunch of Fs. Alright, Ben, come on. Trump! Oh, shit. Okay, come on. You've been so dishonest. You've been so dishonest so far, Ben. Come on. Come on. You can't... He's gonna put him in fucking... He's gonna put him in B. He's gonna fucking put him in B. Because he's already said... Oh, he might even put him in A. Because he said, like, no more S, no more F. And I think he said no more A. But, oh... Come on, Ben.
I think is a B president. Now, I think in terms of policy, he'd be closer to an A. I think in rhetoric, the problem is that he's really been self-defeating, the president. I think most people understand this. So he's had some real rhetorical highs. I mean, he gave a great speech in Mount Rushmore, for example, that I talked extensively about. He gave an excellent speech.
The Mount Rushmore speech? Do you mean the Fascism 101 speech? Oh my god.
In Poland, talking about the defense of Western civilization. He has said many great things in the culture war that I think are worthy of saying. He has also said some incredibly wild and irresponsible things over the course of his presidency. He has led to less support for his agenda items that should be wildly more popular. I mean, the fact is that heading into the election, over 55% of Americans said that they were better off than they were 4 years ago, and then he performed at like 46% of the popular vote. There's only one reason for that, and that's because he was so rhetorically irresponsible. Again, on policy, you got to put Trump up with people like Ronald Reagan and Calvin Coolidge. In terms of rhetoric, you got to put him much further down the list, and so he ends up, on average, being in that B category. He is not an F, as so many people keep saying. That's ridiculous. He is not even close to in the same category as people like Woodrow Wilson, for example. I did forget one.
It's ridiculous. Oh, what am I doing? Fuck. Trump is unequivocally an F. Where the fuck is he? Where's that? Oh, they don't have him here. Really? How do I add images? Okay, well, this is a little out of date. Okay, well, Trump goes in the F, alright? Everything from his anti-civil rights, his attacks on freedom of speech, his disastrous tariffs, his fascistic tendencies. Like in his last days in office, the man just signed in a bunch of anti-LGBT laws. Like, and not to mention, probably most, like, worst of all, is the establishment of the Trump cult. America is going to be suffering that for years to come. Look, Trump is not here on this list. I didn't make this. This is pre-made. So it's obviously out of date. It doesn't have Trump on here. It's got Obama here, but not Trump. But Trump is an easy F. Ben is so dishonest. Unbelievable.
One F, by the way. Jimmy Carter was an F. Jimmy Carter was a garbage president. So
I'm not going to bother looking up Carter. I make a little who.
Oh, as always, like all historians, I forget Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was not a good president. Maybe slightly better than people recall, in the sense that he actually did try to bring down inflation in the latter years of his administration. Yeah, did so unsuccessfully. But slightly better does not mean good. He was still a horrible, horrible president, so horrible that he got himself blown out by Ronald Reagan, who was largely considered by the media to be this sort of jokey figure. We are going to jump into that C category, but first, let's talk about our sponsors over at Ring. It's pretty important to know. Ring.com category. Again, were there a D? C presidents. So I'm going to put Teddy Roosevelt in the C category. Again, were there a D category, he would be in the D category. Teddy Roosevelt was the first progressive president. He foreshadowed Woodrow Wilson, believed in the rise of the administrative state and this massive federal infrastructure. He pursued trust busting, which was really an irresponsible policy driven by populist need to break up big companies for no actual legal reason. I don't think that Teddy was a particularly...
How about the reason that a company that can threaten... a company so large you can threaten a government is dangerous. There's a good enough reason for you.
Good president. He did have expansionist tendencies that definitely maximized the territorial holdings of the United States, or at least protectorates of the United States. But overall, not a big Teddy Roosevelt fan. James K. Polk.
All right, where is he? Roosevelt. The less cool Roosevelt. Let's see, what have you got? Wasn't he really, like, anti-Indigenous American? Coal strike, uh-oh. In May 1902, anthracite coal miners went on strike, threatening a national energy shortage. After threatening the coal operators, but with intervention by federal troops, Roosevelt won their agreement to dispute arbitration by a commission, which succeeded in stopping the strike. Jesus Christ. So, wow, okay. Roosevelt said, my action on labor should always be considered in connection with my action as regards capital, and both are reducible by my favorite formula, a square deal for every man. A square deal? You strong-armed them with the threat of federal troops, and you call that a square deal? Roosevelt responded to public anger of the abuses of the food packaging industry by pushing Congress to pass the meat inspection at... Okay, well, that's good, but still. Conservation? Oh, cool. Man, why the fuck did Seanhead want to resurrect this fuck? Because he was trust-busting? Oh, cool, great. He's also anti-union. Come on. I swear I remember hearing about some kind of anti-Indigenous stance. I don't know. I swear I heard that. Let's just take a look at... Let's take a look at the Bull Moose. Let's see what they've got to say. Once his defeat at the Republican convention appeared probable, he would accept the progressive nomination of Though many progressive party supporters in the North were supporters of civil rights for blacks, Roosevelt did not give strong support to civil rights and ran a lily-white campaign in the South. Wow! Okay. Trust-busting is not going to save you. Where are you? To the F category with you, sir. Sorry. Trust-busting is not enough to save you from racism and anti-unionism. Sorry. Alright. It's alright. It's only just, alright, mate. Serious.
Is an oft-neglected figure. He was responsible for
who's this?
or at least protectorates of the United States. But overall, not a big Teddy Roosevelt fan. James K. Polk is an oft-neglected figure. He was responsible for widening the borders of the United States into Oregon and the beginnings of places like California in recognizing the Texas Republic, the Mexican-American War. He probably goes in the B category. Also, the only president...
Polk. Where is he? Well, I wonder how we got that land. Haha, yeah, I wonder where that land came from. Ooh, right accident. Okay. Polk and slavery. Oh, what's he got to say? Slaveholder? Okay, easy F. What did he put him as? What did Ben put him as? B. Fuck you, Ben. I fucking hate you so much.
In American history to run for one term and then win and pledge at the beginning, I'm only going to be a one-term president and leave. Which, honestly, that'd be... More of that would be good. Calvin Coolidge ended up doing that, but I don't think he pledged to do that at the very beginning. Dwight Eisenhower, a lot of people would put him in, like, the A category. I would even put him as a C. I'm not a big fan of Dwight Eisenhower's foreign policy. I think that Dwight Eisenhower's foreign policy, which was supposedly realist, actually, in many ways, effectuated many of the problems that we see today in places like the Middle East. He supported the wrong side in the Suez Canal crisis. He
The Suez
basically did
Canal.
nothing as the Russians steamrolled the Hungarians during the Hungarian Revolution in '56. Yeah, I'm actually not a huge Dwight Eisenhower fan.
Okay. I mean, he looks pretty derp. Eisenhower. God, how old is he? 59. When was he born? 90. God. Alright, let's see. Oof, oof. Ooh, what have you got? To end segregation. Okay. End segregation in the army. I suppose it's kind of cringe. MLK wrote to Eisenhower to thank him for his actions, writing the overwhelming majority of Southerners, Negro, and whites, and firmly behind the resolute action to restore law. Okay. That little rock. Okay. Okay. Where did Ben put him? C, I think. Okay. Okay, where is he? Yeah, a little bit harsh. You can jump to the C. Almost done.
Overrated. And then finally, in C presidents.
No! You can't. Come on, Ben. That has to be the most egregious. That has to be worse than Trump. Come on. You cannot put him anywhere but F. I know you don't have a D category, but Bush has to go in F. Come on, man. War hawk, war criminal. Like, instituted the Patriot Act. Come on, man. No.
W. Bush as a C-level president. And that's largely because of the last 3 years of his administration. He started off as a sort of compromise figure, and then he became the guy who led us through 9/11 in what I think was truly heroic fashion. And then by the end of his term, when he was, saying
wait. Take that back. Say that again with a straight face, Ben. Say that again with a straight face.
And that's largely because of the last 3 years of his administration. He started off as a sort of compromise figure, and then he became the guy who led us through 9/11 in what I think was truly heroic fashion. And then...
Oh, man. I wish I had, like, a fucking psychologist to fucking evaluate what he just said. Look, like, I don't know jack shit about, like, facial expression and, like, body posture and, like, where you look and stuff when you lie, but, like, man, I played a lot of LA Noire, and I am doubting that, Ben.
By the end of his term, when he was, saying that we had to step in and save capitalism by destroying capitalism, and when he was not taking on...
Oh, yeah, remember when George Bush said we need to destroy capitalism? Remember when George Bush said that we need to destroy capitalism? Are you going to mention the financial crisis, Ben? Are you going to mention the financial crisis? Are you going to mention the Patriot Act? Are you going to mention Iraq?
Mortgage crisis, I think, in a responsible way. The big problem for Bush is that Bush was never capable of explaining...
Don't call it the mortgage crisis. Call it the financial crisis, because no fucking American knows what the mortgage crisis is.
...himself and sort of assume that history would explain him for him, and I just don't think that's ever a good strategy. Okay, so there you have 22...
Unbelievable. Ridiculous. So dishonest. Where the fuck is he? Bush. F. His dad. F. Clinton. F. Anyone else I know? Jackson. F. And I don't think I know anyone else. Who is he? Gerald Ford. What did Ford do? Anyway, yeah, so I've got a bit more than Ben. But look at this shit, man. There's no one on this list that I would put in S. Most of these guys here probably would have ended up in F, alright? This is, like, fuck me, Ben. You're fucking kidding me. So fucking dishonest. This is just pain. This is pain. Oh, he's so dishonest.
presidents. There are a few who, in retrospect, I wish that I had listed here. Andrew Jackson should be on this list. He probably ends up being a B president mainly because of his policy with regard to Native Americans. He would rank higher if it were not for his rather nasty policy, to say the least, with regard to Native Americans. Fighting back the nullification crisis.
Yeah. Trail of Tears, yeah, that only earns him B, you know.
Ensuring the United States did not break apart. B president, probably historically speaking, 10 years ago, you would have said he was an A president. There are a couple other presidents that we could rank here. But there you have it.
Wait, what? What was it about?
For his rather nasty policy, to say the least, with regard to Native Americans. Fighting back the nullification crisis. Ensuring the United States did not break apart. B president, probably historically speaking, 10 years ago, you would have said he was an A president. There are a couple other presidents.
Oh, what are you saying, Ben? You think that people are more concerned about racial justice now? So 10 years ago, people didn't care as much?
We could rank here. But there you have it. There it is. What do you think? What did I get wrong here? Did I get any of them wrong? Of course I didn't. But let us know down in the comments what you thought. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. We will see you here.
Shut up. Wow. Oh, Ben. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Ben Shapiro. Unbelievable. All right, just a reminder.
Is that Bush was never capable of explaining. So there you have.
Okay, just a reminder. This is Ben's list. Washington, S. Lincoln, S. Coolidge, A. Reagan, A. Jefferson, A. Ulysses, A. Grover Cleveland, B. Taft, B. Truman, B. Trump, B. Polk, B. JFK, C. Roosevelt, like Teddy Roosevelt, C. Eisenhower, C. Bush Jr., C. Wilson, F. LBJ, F. FDR, F. Nixon, F. Obama, F. Buchanan, F. And Carter, F. Fuck me. Like, when he was right, like Obama and Nixon, he was right for the wrong reasons. And here's our tier. S. No one. I couldn't put FDR in S. The internment camps are too much. The internment camps are so bad that it pushed him out of S, out of A, and into B. Like, I wish I could put him in S. I wish I could put him in A. But the internment camps are fucking heinous. That's way too bad. So S, no one. A, Lincoln. Only just. Yeah. Otherwise S, but sorry, he's got to be an A. B, FDR. B, Coolidge. LBJ. Like, LBJ should be way further down this list. But, like, the civil rights stuff is what's got him such a high position. C, Taft, Eisenhower. D, Washington, Buchanan, Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt, who really should be fucking F. Like, he's only just in D. F, Nixon, Obama, Reagan, Grant, Kennedy, Cleveland, Truman, Polk, Bush Jr., Bush Sr., Clinton, Jackson, and then fucking these dorks down the below. In fact, let's just... There we are. There we go. I can't, like, Ben Shapiro, my god. I was about to ask, how does he lie straight in bed? Well, he sleeps very comfortably on his enormous mountain of money. So yeah, Nixon, easy F. War on drugs. Obama, easy F. Warhawk. Patriot Act. Like, I don't like civil rights. The civil rights that he did change aren't enough to put him into D. Reagan, like, easy. Union buster. Neoliberalism. Grant, just nothing about him, really. JFK, yeah, like, shit. It's like really just, like, seen so, like, looked upon so well because of just his popular image. Cleveland, I can't remember any shit about Cleveland. But like, I can't... Where did he put Bush Jr.? In C. If he put him in B, I would have screamed. Like, oh. And Trump in B. Fuck, I wish I had Trump here. I wish I had Trump on this list. I might have to like make it, like Trump might even be the worst US president. Oh, I know he was a war hawk as well though, so it's not like Obama and Bush have that over him. Unbelievable. Well, there you have it, folks. Just to recap, ranking the US presidents: S tier, no one; A tier, Lincoln; B tier, FDR, Coolidge, LBJ; C tier, Taft, Eisenhower; D tier, Washington, Buchanan, Jefferson, Teddy Roosevelt; F tier, Nixon, Obama, Reagan, Grant, JFK, Cleveland, Truman, Polk, Bush Jr., Bush Sr., Clinton, and Jackson. Far out. Lift your game, Americans, alright? And again, no shade at the Americans, because hey, at some time in the future, I'll make a list, I'll do a tier list for the Australian Prime Ministers. Because let me tell you, there's been some shit Prime Ministers. But the leaders of the free world, yeah, not doing that well. Nope. Whew. So that ended up being a really long segment. Sorry about having to go back and forth between Wikipedia, but like, I mean, I probably just learned more about US presidents than what's honestly taught in most US primary schools about the presidents. Oh, and it's getting kind of late. This is stream. Oh, it should be almost 2 hours. Far out. It's almost my bedtime. I don't know, unless anyone in the chat wants to weigh in with a hot take. If anyone wants to argue something out, I wouldn't mind that. Otherwise, I think I might see about going to bed soon. Fucking Ben. Unfucking believable. Let's see what the comments got to say. Oh, look, from Taft himself. I appreciate the generous ranking, Ben. Where did Taft go? B. That's not really that generous. Thanks for putting me in S tier, Ben. What's all these fucking fake counts? I got a C, really? I got some higher than my grand cousin FDR. Whatever. That's not very nice, Ben. I'll make sure the Food and Drug Administration puts rat in your meat. Oh my god, some of all the fake fucking president accounts. That's weird. Cult of Quinton? They must have changed their name? Yeah, exactly. Comment section, 10%. People actually commenting, 90%. Presidents appreciating or hating. George Walker Bush. Did I get any of them wrong? Of course I didn't. I'm afraid you did. Alexander Hamilton. You probably would have got an S. Has anyone else got anything? Oh, far out, man. No one's got anything to say. Theodore Roosevelt should be S. Only real G gets shot mid-speech and keeps going. Yeah. Who the fuck is going to change their YouTube username to Kelvin Coolidge or create one just to comment on a Ben Shapiro video? Teddy didn't get enough credit. Wait, where did I put Teddy? D. Does that... Yeah, maybe he should go up to C. For his, food standards. Because that's pretty important. Alright, between food standards and drug and trust busting, Teddy can go up to C. Okay, well this is boring. And you know what? So are all of you. Alright? But I hope I wasn't. So if you enjoyed the stream, please consider subscribing to me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. I do prepared content over on my YouTube channel. I'm quite proud of it. I also upload the segments from the stream. So hey, check that out. I want to be between university and looking for work. I want to try and stream as much as possible. I'll be back tomorrow morning with some other stuff for the Americans in the audience. Hey, I'm Louis Vuitton. Please consider supporting me if you like the stream. Can we raid anyone? Is Rogue Bitch streaming? Rogue Bitch is streaming. She is live, alright? I'm sending you over to Rogue Bitch's stream. However, you all... Two things. Number one, you better be fucking nice, because it's transgender J visibility. So you all bid on your best behavior. And number two, you tell her where you came from, alright? You tell her you came from Louis Vuitton. So I'll send you over there, and yeah. Oh, she's playing Bioshock, alright? Nice and easy. One viewer's ready to raid. Come on. 2 viewers. Yes, come on. Everyone. There's like 4 of you there. Come on. Shit, what the hell? Okay, hang on. Oops. Oh god, what did I press? Oh god! Okay. Alright, forget the raid. Alright, you're off the hook. Good night.